sure I'm not talking to the mic too loud. So, hello, my name is Bert Contreras, and I'm here to present my senior defense called Let Me Ask You a Question, which I will be asking at the end of this presentation. So, just real quick, a little bit about myself. I did go to these schools, first with elementary, Charles W. Barrett, with middle school, I went to Curtis, and for my first 2 years of high school, I went to Allen Lee or Locke High School, and then now for my junior and senior year, I am here at Boyle Heights STEM Magnet. As of colleges right now, from the ones I got accepted to, I am heavily decided between UC Irvine and Woodbury University to pursue my career as an animator. I've been wanting to become an animator since I was little and have been now pursuing it here for my future. Some little hobbies that I do as of right now, I love to read books regardless of the genre. I love anything Pokemon, whether it be games, books, coloring pages, stickers, anything, you can name it. I love drawing, I do animating as a hobby, which is why I'm turning it into a major as a career. And I also really love advocating for my career community, which I'm doing right now with GSA that I have as a club in this school. So I'm very excited for that and hoping to turn it into something more. So this purpose of my senior defense as of right now, I want to show that I have the desire to take on any sort of challenges that I am given that positively affect my future and allow me to grow in areas that I wouldn't normally be able to grow into without having these type of experiences from these projects. So as of right now, this quote that I chose, most opportunities are created by luck. It takes skill to grasp those opportunities and turn them into a success. This quote is from someone I heavily admire. I heavily admire them due to the fact that they inspire others while inspiring themselves, which I love to do. I want to be able to make people happy. I love making people happy. I love giving that helping hand to others, and that person that I quoted has done that, so I want to be able to take on his legacy and do something similar to that. So for my first artifact is my Women Holler Creek final that I did in AP English Language. So for this assignment, I collected information on 2 stories. One story we read in class called Women Holler Creek, and then we also quickly went over a tale called La Llorona, which I hope you are familiar with. If not, I'll quickly explain it. It's a story about a woman who ended up getting married but ended up having to deal with a bad partner, and soon enough ended up killing 2 of her children and became a withering ghost herself that kind of haunts the little lake that she threw her children in, supposedly. So with that, 2 stories, we had to create a list of questions where we all came together and chose the question that we wanted to focus on and turn it into an assignment. So I'll let, while this video plays, I'm gonna explain it a little bit about what I did. So with this assignment, I created an animation, a quick 1-minute animation talking about the stories and how they connect to each other, both differences and what they have in common. And I was able to get a few points across. I couldn't get everything I wanted, of course, but I only had so much time because it was only a minute. This animation was around 200 frames, 300 frames, hand-drawn on my iPad tablet. It took me about, I had to squeeze it in, so it took me about a week, but I feel like that little week gave me a lot of time to do what I wanted. We'll move on to the other slides. There we go. So for my slow for this project, I used communicators. I had to be able to communicate what I wanted to entail and what these common and differences from these 2 stories were to my classmates, because some of them I was well knowledge with the tale La Llorona, while the others weren't. They had to research and they had to dive into the story, while I already had some common knowledge from it. So it gave me a lot of leeway to immediately jump into the animation and, go on with it. And then I also had to find the best way to explain it since they didn't know. And I felt like the best way to explain it was to capture their attention, to entertain them while learning. So I did that through animation, which a lot of people do like nowadays when it comes to movies, animated series, and even on YouTube. There's a lot of YouTube animators on there. And then for a challenge that I had some difficulty with was, again, I had only 1 week to complete this. Animation takes a long time. I'm working on a few projects right now for myself that I haven't even finished yet, and it's been like a month. So to be able to combat that challenge, I had to make it, I had to find the main points I wanted to cover and incorporate that into the animation, as well as not adding so much movement to the point where that movement will not be shown in the presentation. So if you saw my animation, the only thing that was really consistently moving was the tail of the cat. That's the only thing that took a lot of time, if anything. It took me like maybe 2 days to complete. So if I added more movement, I probably wouldn't have gotten the assignment done on time. So I had to make that small sacrifice for movement. And this assignment allowed me to gain the experience in what I want to major in. I want to be an animator, as I said before. So this allowed me to story plan everything. So allowed me to start off with a sketch, what I wanted to include, so like a script, and as well as the starting of animation, so like sketching the animation online, line art, and then color, and going over everything, making sure that it's all right. Please. Okay. For my second artifact is my AI Bill of Rights presentation that I did for a U.S. history class. So for this assignment, we had to incorporate AI into the Bill of Rights that we learned over the course of, I believe it was the first thing we learned in U.S. history, covering the Bill of Rights. We had to see which Bill of Rights the AI will be allowed to have. So like, let's say, the right to bear arms. Should we allow AI to, should we allow AI to have the right to bear arms like we do? A lot of people carry guns nowadays. They carry weapons to protect themselves. Should we allow AI to do that? Because they're not human, so a lot of people might disagree. A lot of people might agree, depending on what kind of person they are. And I wanted to be able to cover that through a small presentation of slides. Okay. So, yeah, this is one of the slides I did during the presentation. We covered, this was a group project, so each of our members covered maybe like 1 to 3 slides for this project. I covered around 3 to 4, I believe, if I'm not wrong. And one of my slides was the rights in criminal cases. My group agreed that AI should be allowed to have every right that we have, since they have a conscience, they have ways to show emotional feelings. So they should be allowed to have every right that we have, including the rights in criminal cases. That's just a small explanation. And then this was actually a little bit of the script that we worked on. So we first had to work on a script before actually creating our slides. So this was just a little bit of a frame that I did for the freedoms, petitions, and assembly. Sorry, I forgot to bring my water. So yeah, we first figured out this script, and then we put everything onto the slides to make it simpler. And then we also created a video, so a voiceover explaining everything, and not only what was on our slides, going further into depth. So our slide had like what bill we're talking about, and then in the video we explained it further on. So the slope I used for this one was creative collaborators. As I said, I did this in a group with 3 other people. And we had to be able to communicate with each other, making sure that everyone's on their side, everyone is doing what they're supposed to, everyone's finishing the script, making sure we're going to be able to pass this project. And it was a little bit difficult. The challenge was how I didn't really know people that well. This was my first year here, so it made me very, very nervous to put myself out there and communicate with people I didn't know. So that was a challenge in itself. Eventually I got comfortable with them, working with them together, and even talking outside of the classroom, which made me really happy, because I still connect with those people. And it also allowed me to see like how I talk to people. It brought a lot of awareness of how I talk to people, because I don't know if I'm like super cheery, if I'm super negative, and through this project allowed me to see like how I interact with people I just meet, which allows me to like, you know, shift my gaze and try to turn more positive, maybe I'm a bit more bubbly maybe, just to have more of a greater impact on those people when I first meet them. And then I guess another challenge that I had to deal with was finishing the script. No offense to my partners, they were somewhat lazy, so we didn't finish the script on time, I won't lie. So I had to include them a lot. I had to keep talking to them. I had to make sure like, hey, are you doing your part? Hey, are you doing your part? I even helped them find articles on the Bill of Rights to help them further. One of them being the link up there. So I was able to help them. We helped each other, of course, but they eventually got their stuff together and we were able to finish it on time. And then a future goal connection I can use for this is, because I want to become an animator, I need to be able to clearly communicate with my team. Like, how's the storyline going? What are we doing for this scene? How is this going to be animated? What color is going to be this? How are the characters going to be reacting, their emotions and everything? So if I'm not able to clearly communicate with my team in my job, the storyline and animation is going to be all over the place. So this kind of gave me more practice towards it, and just more of an experience of how to interact with people when I first meet them. So I feel like I learned a lot from that social interaction. Please. Okay. For my third artifact, this was actually from my other high school, called the Say Something art project in my visual arts class. So the purpose of this project was my teacher wanted to give us students a voice, and whether it be a social problem, our own problem, just a problem that they see amongst their peers, and also a problem that they've been keeping within themselves. Okay, so yes, I chose the LGBTQ community since I am very passionate about it, and that was the first year, so this was in 10th grade, that was the first year where I was really open about it. I was open about it in 9th grade, but 10th grade was when we just got out of COVID, so everyone saw me, everyone saw how I represented and stuff, so this was another project that gave me motivation to express myself more. And I'm gonna explain the sketches real quick. So, these are my first two drafts. I wanted the idea of showing the struggle with transgenderness. So this one on your guys' left, I believe, is a depiction of someone neutral, and then the boxes inside sometimes are male and sometimes female. So it's like such a they don't know how to feel, basically. And then on, I believe your right side is what it could kind of feel like, a depiction of what it feels like to be misgendered. So sometimes it can feel like a weight, sometimes it can feel a bit like a stab wound. And then on the top of that right there, I wanted to somehow include a man or someone representing as male looking into a mirror and seeing what he wants to be. He wants to be a female. And then I actually improved that first sketch into more of a reflection of myself. So I am biologically female, and I wanted to be able to show people what it actually can look like, or how I see myself in the light of male. It is very hard to express yourself when you're scared, so that's what I wanted to depict there, being scared to show yourself, but still wanting to show that side of yourself, which is why the little boxes are there. Please. There we go. Okay. So I actually scrapped this one at the bottom, the bigger one, because on my thing that I was painting on was not big enough for it. So I scrapped it. I kept the mirror sketch up there, and I instead wanted to include a little. This was adjusted, but I wanted to include a little section at the bottom of a bunch of little pin people like that, black and white, and then single person that has the letter G would be like someone with a rainbow flag, representing like, even though there might not be a lot of us, we're still there. Okay. So the canvas that I did use for this project was a skateboard. My teacher wanted us students to use unconventional canvases, which she mainly wanted us to go out onto the street and pick up something that was considered trash and make it into your artwork, your art piece. And I wasn't able to do that because there's not a lot of things like that around where I live. So she gave me a skateboard that no one was using, and I turned that into my art piece. This was the first official sketch and idea that I wanted to portray. I first had to measure out everything to see where everything would even go. And then I started to sketch on my ideas. The mirror sketch is actually these on the side right here. The little pin guys, I actually made it so it was an individual flag from the LGBTQ community, so, you know, non-binary, sexualities, stuff like that. And then I wanted to also put on bathroom signs, because bathroom signs are a real big deal for people in the LGBTQ community, especially for me. And then the big sketch that I showed you depicting myself would actually be at the top, but it did change for the final project. So that was the final project. I'm actually very, very proud of it and still am. It took around, I want to say at least maybe a month to finish. So I did change it a lot. I wanted, my teacher recommended me make the centerpiece a lot bigger because it was my focus on transgender people and myself. And as you can see, I made the pin people each different sexuality or gender. I included the, some bathroom signs that you might see out in public. And I also included pronouns because not a lot of people know different pronouns other than she, her, he, him, or even they, them. They don't know neo-pronouns. So I wanted to give those pronouns a bit more light since it's not very accepted. And I actually had a lot of fun with this. I didn't know how to really draw people. I have gotten better, but you know, I'm still very proud of it. My teacher still uses it as an art piece to show like what everyone's gonna do. So, before I play that video, I actually want to talk about it a bit more. So for my slow, finally getting into it, I use thinkers and engaged citizens. With thinkers, as you saw in my sketches, I first had to brainstorm everything. I went through basically the engineering design process. I had to brainstorm everything. I had to put those ideas out onto paper and sketch everything. And then I had to go through my sketches and see what I wanted to adjust, what I wanted to change differently, what I wanted to even include. So of course, as you saw, I didn't include that one sketch, but I did end up replacing it with something else and making other things bigger. And then, yeah, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. I created this piece to be able to show what it feels like, as I said, to be transgender, or what it's like to be in the queer community, because in my last high school, it wasn't very known. The queer community, yes, I had queer friends in there, I had teachers that were accepting, but it wasn't really talked about, so I felt still isolated, I still felt in the closet. So I feel like with this piece, it allowed people to be more open to it. Though I will say a challenge with this assignment was, this wasn't assigned to my class. So my visual arts class was like the first art class that you take. This assignment was for that upper class, the next class you would take next year. So my teacher gave me the opportunity. She asked, because she knew I was open with it, and I was open with it with her, if I wanted to create something like this, and I took it. But because of that, I did have work piled up on me. Because this assignment wasn't for my classmates and I had to deal with my regular classwork and also this, trying to get it out on time because it ended up in an art show with the other art pieces. So I needed to figure out a way to have time to finish it. And the way I did that was I went after school sometimes to work on it. I painted it, I sketched it more, I fixed it up. I even did, during my advisory hours, I went to my art class and started working on it. My art teacher had a lot of art supplies there, like paint markers and stuff like that. So because of that extra time I provided into my project, allowed me to finish it on time and put it out in the art show. And then for this assignment, it did help me a lot with not only my confidence, but how I want to be able to get that experience for advocating for the queer community. Though I do want to go into majoring into animation, I do also want to indulge myself into advocating for the queer community, like during strikes and to get a little bit political for my community, because there's a lot of laws right now that prevent me from going to places because I'm not accepted there. So I want to be able to do stuff like this through art and just portray how we feel through that, because not a lot of people see us as human. They don't see us as humans. So because of that, stuff like this can help them feel it. I'll let the video play. Hopefully you can hear it. It's just a quick explanation, a bit more on the project.
Yep. I'm reaching towards LGBTQ open and closeted students. I want to be able to tell the students how they're not alone, whether you're out or closeted. There are people who understand you and your feelings. This is important because many students may feel like they need to fit in and avoid being judged, especially how some parts of the world have laws against people that are homosexual. The images show someone of one's gender feeling or having the soul of the opposite gender. It shows a little how I and possibly other trans people feel. There are also flags of different sexualities and genders showing that everyone is welcome, no matter what you identify as.
So my teacher wanted us to also record our voice, explaining our piece a little bit and also what it meant to us. So that was just a little clip of what it meant to me, and also what I wanted to promote with that art piece, as I said before. And just real quick, this art piece, or hold up. I won't go back, but if you remember the middle of the skateboard, there was that big centerpiece with the girl and the boxes with the male parts. That was almost actually a book cover. That was a book cover, that was almost a book cover because my art teacher had a friend that was working on a book, and she showed that friend my art piece that I was working on, and that friend really liked it. So that art piece was almost on the book cover, and if from that I would have gotten paid, but it would have went towards my college funds, because it's illegal to just give me money like that, you know. So that would have went towards college. Though it didn't happen, sadly, I was almost given that opportunity, which I find really, really cool. So for my conclusion, as I'm wrapping up, from my 2 years at Locke and 2 years here at Boyle Heights, I am proud to say that I learned to take on a lot of challenges that I've been pushed through my high school years, whether it be trying to struggle with time, trying to complete assignments. And these challenges allowed me to grow that positively affected my future, but also myself as a person, because I've become a lot more confident, I've become a lot more happy, which I didn't think I would be. I've been always saying how I wanted to be more happy, and now I am. I really am really happy. So with stuff like this, it's really, really, really helped me. And it also gave me more of like a dedication towards animation, because even though I want to go into animation, I didn't know that for a while until my senior year. So assignments like these and looking back at my experiences, it does help me settle on I want to be an animator. And real quick, if you remember my title of my senior defense, what this question is, and I also hope you remember my quote because it is important. I'll skip the countdown. But let me ask you a question. In your opinion, did I demonstrate my skills to grasp opportunities and turn it into success? Thank you. That's it. Do you have any questions?
Well, first of all, I want to say, sorry if I'm a little emotional. It makes me happy to hear you say that you're happy, because I know, having worked with you last year, I could see that you weren't. And, you know, I'm glad you're on the other side of that. Just looking at your challenges that you faced and the areas that you feel you need to grow on, like I know you mentioned time management. What's something that you plan to do like in the future to work on that?
So I have been focusing more on creating a routine. Like I have a routine in the morning, but I don't have routines for other things. Like I don't really study, but I have a part of my day where I focus on homework. So I feel like after homework, I can start creating that routine when it comes to studying. So in college, I'm planning on setting like an actual schedule for myself, getting a calendar, writing things down more, and being able to have things even on my phone, because there's a clock there, there's timers, there's alarms you can set. So I want to do more stuff like that. And then I feel like that'll allow me to be more on time with things, and just in general, like be productive.
For the AI Bill of Rights, you said that you worked in a group. It was a bit challenging, right? You were able to help some of your group members. What were some of those methods? I know you mentioned that you sometimes sat down with them and kind of helped them out. What were other methods that you felt you were able to provide, maybe as a leader in the group, to be able to make this project work?
So what I usually try to do is get their contact information or a way to somehow interact with them outside of school, because we don't live in the same area. I don't live in Boyle Heights. I live in South Central. So I wanted to be able to talk with them after school, even during passing periods. I check up on them like, hey, did you finish? Do you need help? Can I do anything? You know. So it's more of interacting them inside the classroom, but also outside the classroom. If I only talk with them inside the classroom, they wouldn't have done anything, in my opinion. I feel like they wouldn't have done anything. So kind of pushing them and being that annoying one, that annoying leader, I feel like helped a lot. Even though I will say, I feel like if you remember, one person did not show up at all for like 2 days. So I picked up their pace. Me and my teammates that did show up came together and kind of finished his slide. So that was also another thing. Even though like one teammate kind of dropped out, the 3 of us came together and did his part.
My question is overall, so of the 3 categories, analysis, argument, and problem solving, where do you place each of your artifacts?
So argumentative, problem solving, and what, sorry?
And analysis.
Analysis. So with argumentative, I would place the AI Bill of Rights into that, because we're arguing whether AI should even have those rights. Problem solving, I'd say that one was my say something, because I had to figure out how I was even gonna say words, how I was gonna say something without even saying anything. Like how to say 1,000,000 words with only a skateboard. And that's not easy to do. And what was the last one, sorry?
Analysis.
Analysis. That would be my first artifact, which is the one with Holler Creek. I had to analyze those stories and pick main points that I wanted to include. I had to see what was intertwined with each other, and what was like, oh my god, this is so different. I struggled a little bit on analysis there, but I feel like I did get my point across with that analysis, that I did fine.